What's up, good people? Good afternoon. We're going to get right to the point. You already know what to do. Just follow that prompter in your lower right-hand corner and come join this family. Okay, so we're going to get right into it. I'm going to get straight to the point. We have a cool off today, not a sell off, a cool off, right? Sometimes we just say sell off to get you guys' attention. I'll just be the first to admit it. Let's go right into it. The market is selling off as Tesla is nearing all-time highs. And there's a lot of uncertainty in the market. So for instance, this morning, this is what came up on my phone. Stocks jumped broad. See here? Advance in investment data this week will show strong economy, tamed inflation. Okay. So they're saying tame inflation, and that's what the markets were showing, right? And so there's a lot of data coming this week. So strong economy and tame inflation, right? And then you see what time that was, 8:30, right at opening bell. And then what happened, right? Just about 2 hours later, S&P gives up gain and retreats as AI-related stock come under pressure again, all right? And so these are some of the things, these are some of the news stories that just keep whipsawing things back and forth, making this market difficult to read. Though I told everybody in Money Moves, be careful, because I believe it's going to take to the afternoon for this market to understand where it needs to be today. And this market is simply confused. So while I have this phone up, I want you guys to look at this information that is coming this weekend. This is the data that they were talking about. Tomorrow, all right, which is Tuesday, job reports for October and November. Remember, we didn't have those numbers before. So we need to see what's going on. And why is that important? Because the Fed said he was concentrating on the job market. Weakening job market means he's more likely to cut interest rates, right? Strengthen the job markets, less likely to cut interest rates. So let's see what else is going on. Retail sales, S&P Global Manufacturing Services, PMI. All of that data comes out when? Tomorrow. Usually those jobless claims come out an hour before the market opens, okay? Now, that's tomorrow, Tuesday. Skip 2 days to Thursday. Then you got jobless claims and you got CPI, all right? You guys know Consumer Price Index. That's very, very important. And it's the most important in Q4, which we are in right now, if you ask me. Of course, we won't have retail sales for like the Christmas rally and all of that until Q1 of 2026, okay? So we got the Philadelphia KC Fed Manufacturing Survey, right? And then this coming Friday, we have existing home sales, but more importantly, we have consumer sentiment. So all of that is happening this week, right? And there's other indicators that is out there. I was just looking at or listening to CNBC, and they were showing where the wealthy is now buying at, Walmart. They're buying at the discount stores, all right? And that's a sign of the economy when the wealthy start buying at discount stores, okay? Because you know how some of the snobby wealthy people are. They don't want to be seen in Walmart, okay? It's beneath them, okay? We're down here with the commoners. And so we have other things going on like silver and gold, okay? So let me go here. We have other things going on like silver and gold, like approaching all-time highs, which we did hit here in October of 2024, ramping up. So we got silver and gold going back to, if you look back to the dot-com era where it was high, we're hitting that again. And if you go back to the 70s, you'll see that gold and silver are high again, like the 70s and the dot-com of the 90s. Larry, that's a lot of bad news. I know, but again, we're about strategies here. And we got Tesla going up. You have some people still bullish on Tesla. Everything is betting on autonomous driving. And if they don't come through, Tesla's going to pull back if they don't come through, as they are nearing all-time highs. So here's what's happening, good people. We had this in the morning. We had a run up in the morning, and it was looking good, and it was a strong run up this morning, right? And then we had this literal fall all morning, just fall, and it just went all the way down. Okay, regained a little bit and then came all the way down. Look at that. So that's not good, good people. So we got the Nasdaq at the top and the S&P at the bottom. So I'm sorry, the Nasdaq is the blue line and the S&P is the orange line. And you could see in lockstep, they did not like today, right? They are uncertain today. And there was ways to make money if you were doing options. And then, of course, Bitcoin was down at 85. It's gained a little bit, just like those other indices. So you could see that Bitcoin is following in lockstep. Let me see if I could stack this. I had to go to the monthly to get this to the monthly, should I say, to get this to look good. But as you could see, when the S&P and Nasdaq go down, so as they actually from here to here, Bitcoin was going up, met here, right? December 12th, and then from December 12th in lockstep, they're selling off together, okay? So let's go to the next window, right? Let's see what's happening. All right, let's just stick a pin in crypto for a minute. Someone said, hey, you haven't talked about crypto in a minute. It is, remember when I said that window of opportunity is getting smaller and smaller for it to return and go higher? Well, it's still getting smaller and smaller. And without me showing the charts, 70, 76-ish again, we could revisit 76 down to 74 again. Remember when we all bought back then, 74, and then it dipped down to 76. I'm talking about Bitcoin. And then from $74, when we bought again, we bought more, it went all the way back to 125K. That was a good move. Now, I struck some levels this morning, and you know what? Let's see how they went. I'm going to get rid of some of this stuff here. Here we have the Qs, okay? And we could see, I was looking at this earlier, we were almost oversold on the RSI actually in the pre-markets, okay? And we could see that, right? And then we could see we were oversold. Was that Tesla? Yeah. Tesla actually was oversold. I'm on a 15-minute. Tesla was oversold right at opening bell. Bam. And then you could see volume trending down, and you could see that the histogram actually was kind of a fake out because it was going up while the stock was going down. The histogram was going up, but we were oversold right here. Right, so let me take these out so we could see these a little clearer. Let's take that out too, okay? And let me take volume out of here. All right, so let's give a cleaner look. Let's go to the 5-minute, and we could see what happened with Tesla. So I struck a lot of lines this morning. Took a little while, but we could see that. Let me stretch that out. Sorry, I didn't take the time to move this, but we could see that Tesla opened up this morning, hit my first level. All right, right out of the gate, boom, hit the second level, boom, didn't touch the third level. And now we're just hovering here on Tesla. We are still up. We could see that 3.72% on Tesla. Let's look at the SPY really quick, and I want to talk with you guys at the end. So the SPY actually just cooled off. We had a fight right at open, just like we said. We had a fight right at open, and then it started dropping really, really hard. Right, came down, hit my first level, came down, hit my second level, and actually came down and hit my third level for those that were doing puts. Okay, and then the Qs did pretty much the same thing. Broke beneath pre-market low, and hit this level. Okay, now I added this level. No, I added that on, I added that on Tesla. But we could see that even if you did a put down to 106.57, you would have made money. And actually, 608.57. Man, am I dyslexic this morning? All right, so really it touched down to 609. You can see that right there. We touched down to 609, right? And you could have made money right there. So let's talk. What do I have here? Tesla. All right, let's talk, good people. So now I just want to be straight with you guys with all the information that I'm giving you guys. Could we have a Santa Claus rally? We could. And you just want to know, what should you do? And you know, it's hard to find out exactly what should you do when you see an open like this, right? And then 2 hours later, you get the bad news. And there was no big news story that happened that pulled the market down. But I was saying on yesterday that you have to have a strategy. And I was saying on yesterday that this market is heavy. And every time I try to be optimistic, I'm looking at what I'm looking at, and I can't unsee it. So that's why I made the video that I made on yesterday. Now, somebody came in the comments section and said, the pre-markets are up. Aha, smiley face. And, so many times I want to come back and go, how does that pre-market look now? Right? I just want us to focus on strategizing and making good money. Now, here's what I'm going to say. It's different for everyone. And if you're new, I know that this is all confusing. So at some point, you have to see, where do you think the stock market is going to pull back to? And then you need to go to the chart. If it's tech, then you need to go to that company. I would start with the Qs and then go to the tech individual company. And I would say, if you're in profit, you have to ask yourself, how much profit do I want to keep? And you may have bought some, 2 years ago, way lower. So the stock that you bought higher, you need to ask yourself, how much of your gains do you want to give back, or are you willing to give back? And then you need to consider a stop loss, even before the market tanks. And you may get it wrong, because it could trigger your stop loss and go turn around and run up. So then what do? You need to be in long. That's what you need to be doing or looking at. You need to be looking at a long position, meaning you're going to be in there 4 to 7 years. And there's a lot of money to be made, even if we have a correction, which is negative 10%, or a crash, which is negative 20% in 2026. I don't think that's going to happen this year. And I could be proven wrong, but I don't think that's going to happen this year. Now, some of you guys are saying this is all bad news. No, it's good news if you have some dry powder. And if you don't have dry powder, you have time to get dry powder. You have time to, if you're driving Uber on weekend, just put a few more hours in and just put it in cash, okay? And so, Larry, that sounds so simple. Where I'm just telling you guys what I'm doing. And remember, anything I say is not a suggestion for you to buy, hold, or sell. And the only reason I'm looking like this with the red eyes is because I got a headache. But the truth be told, there's half of me that is ready for a pullback. Why? I got dry powder. And I know some of you bought at the top. So you have to ask yourself, what are you going to do? Because it's not one size fit all. So what I want you to do, again, is don't only listen to me, listen to a lot of people that are knowledgeable and understand that some people bought at the top and their story is totally opposite of people that actually bought at the bottom. There are some of you, somebody told me that they literally entered in the stock market on April 5th, which was the bottom of Liberation Day. So they're doing well, and they put a nice lump sum of money in. So they're not the same as someone that bought at the top. Follow? And then some of you guys have been dollar cost averaging. So you're here in the middle if you've only been doing that for, the last 6 months. So first you need to establish where you are. You need to establish what stock are swing stock, what stock are swing trades, and what stock are long investments. And over the next couple of videos, I want to help you guys make those decisions by giving you the information so you can make your own conscious decision. I know they're not going to get a lot of views, but they will be the money making videos. Trust me when I tell you, because what you need right now is not the next hot stock. You need strategy. Okay. And if you really want to know strategy for yourself, then come join us at Stock Up You and learn and equip yourself with the tools that you need to manage these markets. Okay. And still use the same coupon code. I'm keeping it for you guys because I want you to come and get some of this wealth. Now, I'm going to say this in closing. We're still massively up for this year. If you've been with me for the last year and a half, you're up massively. Okay. You have a lot of gains. What I don't want you to do is give them all back. Let me know what you think. Okay. We'll see you later. Live, love, laugh, and learn.